Hi, this is Paul Michaels with Nerd Supernova. I'm your host, and my co-host today is.
AJ Halfpenny, howdy howdy.
AJ was kind enough to let me use his microphone today, and we're recording at his house right now. And we basically have both been binge watched and want to discuss at full length the new Cobra Kai series that just came out on YouTube Red. AJ, let's start at the beginning. How did you get introduced to the Cobra Kai series when you were a kid?
You mean the Karate Kid movie?
Well, yeah. I mean,
the Cobra Kai series didn't.
Wait. Did I say Cobra Kai? I meant Karate Kid. I apologize.
Oh, yeah, the Karate Kid was first introduced to me with my uncle Roberto, Bobby Mangahas, as you know him. He had the bandana, but like that bandana from the movie.
The one that Daniel wears.
Mm-hmm. The one that Danielson wears, and like those dots only go like halfway through his head. So my uncle actually made Sharpies, like dots of the rest of it. And I actually still have that in my drawer upstairs because I absolutely love that movie. Personally, Karate Kid 2 is a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah.
But Karate Kid, the original, was just an absolute classic. And just made me want to take karate in the first place. And Karate Kid, the original, which came out in 1984, like literally the year after that, just saw an absolute boom in karate studios.
Oh yeah. I would say the same way when Rocky did boxing, or what's another great example, or like where Reese's Pieces like went up after ET essentially.
Oh yeah. And with the movie Out Cold and Zach Galifianakis, skiing and snowboarding went up. It really didn't, but the lesser known Zach Galifianakis film.
No, I that's actually where I first knew him from, and then when they did Hangover, I was like, oh, that guy. But yeah, now he's Zach Galifianakis. So what was I gonna say? But yeah, I have a different history with Karate Kid because I wasn't in love with it way a lot of other kids grew up with it. But I always knew about it because every summer I would go and see my cousins. And my cousins are about a few years older than I am, and I think it's like that's like for them that was it's their generation. And
Karate Kid was their Citizen Kane.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's kind of the best way to put it. And I still remember them talking about Mr. Miyagi, quoting the movie all the time, wax on, wax off, even the stuff with the beer bottles and everything like that. And like that's how I knew about it. Unfortunately, my first introduction to Karate Kid was the terrible Hilary Swank movie when that came out. Because you have to remember, I was probably like 6 when that came out, so I was old enough to see it in theaters. And my mom was like, "Oh, I can take my kid to see a Karate Kid movie now."
I actually rewatched some of that. It wasn't as bad as I remember.
I forgot that Michael Ironside is the villain in that movie.
Oh yeah,
which is awesome.
Michael Ironside is the villain in just about every bad sequel.
No, I would say.
And Highlander. Did you remember Highlander too?
No, I've only seen the first Highlander.
Good. Keep that.
That's what I've heard. Just stay away from the other ones.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen, and I've seen relatives die, like in deathbeds, and I'd rather relive that than Highlander
2. See, I always have a special place for Michael Ironside, be it Starship Troopers or the voice of Darkseid.
Everybody fights, nobody quits.
Yeah, dude, seriously. I love Michael Ironside. But yeah, my first introduction was Hilary Swank. That was my Karate Kid. Not to say that I didn't want to. I know, no. But not
Hilary
to say
Swank was my 9/11.
No, but either way, I knew who Mr. Miyagi was. I actually probably didn't see. Maybe I saw when I was a kid, but I don't remember. But like my first legit real viewing of Karate Kid, I probably saw when I was actually like a teenager, and I like rented it from like the video store. And
VHS or DVD?
I'm gonna say VHS. But it could have been DVD. It could have been DVD because I was a teenager by like 2002, 2003, so they had DVDs at that point. But
VHS was definitely the way to go with those videos.
Yeah.
And then like when the video cassette probably came out 3 years after the original theatrical release, still the same box set for like 20 years.
Dude, what was I gonna say? I mean, whether VHS or DVD or even Blu-ray, like, I liked the movie. I thought it was really good, but I didn't kind of really get the hype around it. Like I enjoyed the stuff with him and Mr. Miyagi, but I just wasn't really captivated by the movie that I knew other people were. And then I just kind of forgot about it and stuff like that. And I never saw the sequels. I never had any inclination to see them. I already knew that they were like lesser movies, I guess. I had seen bits and pieces.
Respectfully disagree, but
No,
go ahead.
no, I'm just saying that's what I'd heard, and I had seen bits and pieces. I think of like Karate Kid 2 and 3, like maybe on like Spike TV when they would do like marathons and stuff. And I remember my mom and I we were bored, and 3 was on TV, and so we decided to watch it as it was like going and stuff. It had already started and everything, and they were at the part.
Terry Silver.
Yeah, where they were at the parts where like Terry Silver is like really messing with like Ralph Macchio or Daniel, and I'm like,
so funny.
but I'm just like, this is horrible. Like Daniel would not be this stupid. Like you should be with Mr. Miyagi. They should be hanging out. Like what is he doing and stuff. I remember like hating the movie, so I never wanted to go back and like check it out.
Yeah, but like even when scenes make you uncomfortable, it doesn't necessarily make it a bad movie.
No, I was just
Terry Silver was just such a even as bad as that they say that movie was.
he's a funny villain. Yeah,
a crafty villain. Like he said, yeah, Daniel, I'll teach you leg sweeps, and then when he turns around, he just starts snickering like.
that guy like went to town with that role, and he wasn't told to hold back apparently. So
well, he did not. I like it, Johnny.
I like it.
He just has like
an aneurysm as he's talking across the line. He was sent to like Thailand, I guess, to get like a massage or something. I'm not even sure what that scene was about.
He was in the sequel to Time Cop.
God, dude,
He was the villain in that too.
So,
Terry Silver.
So here's something I found out, because I only just recently saw the vampire movie by John Carpenter, the one with James Wood, who's a vampire hunter, and the lead vampire in that, who's like really awesome, is the same. It's played by the same actor who plays Terry Silver.
No kidding.
Or Terry Silver. Yeah, and I only found that out recently because I've been talking with my buddy Jimmy, like the last couple days about Cobra Kai, and we've been talking about Karate Kid. He's like, dude, you should check out Karate Kid 2 and 3. And I like Cobra Kai enough, and I knew, even though I didn't know the movies that well, I knew that the Cobra Kai series takes into canon effect the 2 and 3. Like they make references to both those movies. So I said, okay, you know what? It's beneficial if I actually go back and watch those, because I'll catch more Easter eggs when I watch it through again, and I already have and stuff. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Karate Kid 2 is a good sequel. I don't know why.
Definitely a lot different than the first one.
Yeah, but I like sequels that at least try to do something different.
Yeah.
Like if it works, and for this one, it mostly works. Like it's not about Daniel this time. It's about Miyagi and about his past, and you get a whole different exotic setting and everything.
Bit of an origin story.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, you definitely get a better idea of who Miyagi was as like a kid, as well as into like a young adult before he went off to America. And but essentially, it's well done enough where I'm enjoying the adventure that they're both going on. I feel still for Miyagi. I still feel for Daniel-san. And
Girl in that was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, that was her first movie apparently too.
I saw her in an episode of CSI.
Yeah, she's kind of like, I wouldn't say like she's like a low time actress, but she does like a lot of like bit parts now and stuff like that. But she's still around. She's still active, and I'm hoping that she comes back for Cobra Kai.
Oh, that'd be kick-ass. But of course, you got to have the original cast members coming out.
Oh yeah.
If I could say one thing about the second one, had a kick-ass soundtrack.
Yeah. Funny enough, it has a lot of connections with Rocky. The fact that the first Rocky director directed the trilogy of the Karate Kid. The fact that a lot of songs that were supposed to be used in Rocky movies actually get put in Karate Kid.
Yeah, they get put in Karate Kid or the Transformers animated movie from 1986.
Were they going to use the You've Got the Touch in Rocky?
They were going to use that in Rambo, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In I think Rambo Part 3.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've gone back and I've watched all of 2, and I'm only about a quarter of the way through 3. I remember it vaguely from like viewings on television and stuff. But I'm really kind of sad that the movie or the movies kind of stopped there. Like obviously, I think it would have been.
Well, they had to stop there because like by the time the next Karate Kid came out, Ralph Macchio was 32 years old.
Oh no, I understand that, and it's funny too because I didn't realize until I'm watching it that 1 through 3, just like Back to the Future, it takes place within the span of like a year. Like it doesn't actually,
even though it's like a span of like 5 years.
Yeah, in real time, like Ralph Macchio ages like 5 years between the movies.
But I will say in the third one, he still looks like a kid because he gained like a little bit of child weight.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that when I was watching it and stuff.
And like he's jogging, and I'm just like, oh, he's just been putting on the donuts.
I just assumed he ate a lot of fish in Japan. You know, that's what I put it up to.
It must have been puffer fish.
Dude, here's my thing though too is that the guy who plays Terry Silva in real life,
Terry Silver,
sorry, he's actually 4 months younger than Ralph Macchio. And he's supposed to be playing.
Bullshit.
No, I'm not fucking with you, man.
Terry Silver is younger than Ralph Macchio?
The actor is, yeah.
Oh my god. That is crazy.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be playing a Vietnam veteran to Buddy to Crease and everything. The bad guy from the first movie. But yeah, man. I mean, Ralph Macchio was, I think, what was he, 22 when he did the first Karate Kid?
Oh, I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah, he was 22 and he's supposed to be playing like a 15 or 16-year-old at that point. But
it's just like you ever seen Another Teen Movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the asshole blonde in that was probably 22, and then he was in the movie Fired Up, which was 8 years later, so he was literally 32 playing a high school kid. Yeah. But he still looked like a high school kid.
Well, that's what they do too. I mean, it's a lot easier to get kids that look younger, because then they don't have to deal with like the minor rules and stuff like that, and then have to have a parent present for certain scenes or whatever. You know, they
like sex scenes.
Well, just like anything like mildly like inappropriate and stuff. So it's a lot easier to just do it that way. Even I actually looked into it too, because in Cobra Kai there's all these like really good like young kid actors that I've like never seen before. A lot of them it's like their first show that they've done, and I'm looking it up. I'm like, a lot of the kids. They're not kids. Like I think the girl that plays Daniel LaRusso's daughter, she's like 22, but she's playing like a 16-year-old, and it's just easy. Like I said, it's just easier for them to do that. And then
when there's a kissing scene, you'd be like, oh, you need to sign a thing. Like that Asian kid that's a bully in the first few episodes. That dude looks like he's 40.
You know what's funny? He looked
when he smiles, you can see the make of his smile.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why. And it's funny too because the guys who are behind the Cobra Kai show are the guys who did Harold and Kumar. And I think the other showrunner is the guy that directed Hot Tub Time Machine, which also starred William Zabka, who plays Johnny Lawrence as well.
He had a crazy mustache in Hot Tub Time Machine.
I totally forgot he was in it until just recently.
That was probably one of the best parts of the movie.
I haven't seen that movie since it came out in theaters.
Well, they booked him on that because they're absolute fanboys. Like, he literally does one movie every decade.
Here's my thing, though.
It's always memorable.
No. That being said, I want to make this very clear because this movie, this show, actually, the show Cobra Kai could have easily gone in many different directions. It could have easily just worked off nostalgia.
It could have been just a spoof.
It could have literally just been a spoof, yeah. But it's not any of those things. And on top of that, both William Zabka and Ralph Macchio play those characters. Like, it's literally them come back. It's not them doing their best imitation of when they were kids or anything like that. It's literally those characters now grown up in their like late 40s, like early 50s. It's crazy, and they do a really good job of it. I was really impressed by that.
I like how they turned Johnny Lawrence into kind of like a Bad News Bears-esque.
Yeah, I thought that was really well done, though. Like, it works.
He's just drinking in front of his kids and just throwing beer cans at him. It's so damn funny. Well, like, for something that I wouldn't necessarily consider a comedy,
yeah,
but like, there's probably like 3 or 4 things in each episode that's probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in television.
No, it's really well done, man. And they like the show, but it's not like a pandering type of joke. Like it's legit, like well written comedy. And yeah, and there's nothing really ham-fisted about the show. Like the show legitimately works as both a character piece and as an extension of the old franchise. It's really well done. I mean, it's way better than it has any right to be. But you can tell it's written by guys who were definitely fanboys of the original movies.
We get a glimpse of Johnny Lawrence's origin story And
Yeah.
like when we have a younger 10-year-old actor playing him, which made him lead to I want to start doing karate. So this is what led to it because I'm being bullied at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then we understand why he was a jerk as a teenager and why he sees like a lot of his students, why he sees young Miguel as a him,
Yeah.
if you will.
But what I really enjoy about it, and not just Johnny, the same thing goes with Daniel. They don't. I mean, obviously Johnny is the protagonist of the series, but I couldn't necessarily even call Daniel a full antagonist. I mean, you could.
I did it first.
Yeah, you can categorize him as that, but as like you said, like as the show progresses, like they show like the right and wrong of both characters, and it's really well done. Like, I mean, obviously when you're a kid, you see little nuances when you're like a kid watching it, and you're like, oh yeah, Johnny doesn't want to sweep the leg. He doesn't want to win by necessarily cheating. You know, you get little glimpses of that, which I'm glad that they're there now because they've taken that one little aspect and they've expanded upon it greatly. But no one's really a hero or a villain in this series. They've taken away the whole black and white aspect of the original series, but they haven't destroyed the franchise because of it. They've made the characters more three-dimensional and living, breathing like human beings, as opposed to these, 1980s like caricatures, So, yeah. Anyway, sorry. I feel like I cut you off. Did you want to add something?
I forgot what I was gonna say. I bet it was really important. Super important. This is your podcast. I'm just letting you take the reins.
Yeah, man, but I'm
just here as a guest.
No, but I want
eating your pizza.
I want you to interject though, because honestly, like I feel like I myself am like a poser fan because like I never watched the other sequels.
Well, you can't really say you're a poser fan because you and I were both born after 1984. Like neither one of us could say, "Oh, we were there from day one." Like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're like my Uncle Bobby, who's there from day one, or you were born prior to 1984, then yeah, you could still say you're a fanboy. Who cares?
Okay.
It's just like when people say like, "Oh, you like Ewoks," like you're not a true Star Wars fan. Like, go and screw. Like I like Star Wars. Like I wasn't there in 1976 when the first one came out. I was there to see the awful remakes.
You mean the prequels?
Oh, that's another podcast for another day, ladies and gentlemen.
I think there's so much that's already been said about those. I mean, there's not much else we can really say. Now, if we want to talk Last Jedi,
with episode 1 of Cobra Kai, we get to see like a little bit of the road where he goes. He's still driving the same car because like you see it as either nostalgia or he just can't afford to get anything else.
Well, essentially, everyone kind of people have gone on and said, and I agree with them. Johnny is like the character you would see like in like a documentary or like someone from town, the guy who peaked in high school, essentially. But what I like about it is they don't just make it like necessarily like a run of bad luck. Like you can tell that competition, probably inadvertently like messed up his life because he's a senior about 6 months away from graduating because I think the tournament takes place in like December, right? And he's obviously like the big badass in school, and then the scrawny little runt from like nowhere, New Jersey,
a little olive-skinned little prick,
comes out of nowhere and kicks him in the face and wins the tournament. Like, yeah, he probably got shit for it for like the next 6 months leading up to college. I don't know. They don't talk about what he did in college and everything.
He probably, with a car like that, he probably didn't go to college. But I'm sure season 2 will touch up on that if there is a season 2.
I want to get into major spoilers at this point.
It's gonna be a spoiler anyway because they're gonna click on your link because it's a review.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love how they just like How I Met Your Mother did. They addressed that he won with an illegal crane kick, and all of a sudden that becomes a legal move because like towards the end Miguel uses that move to win a first round match, which I absolutely love that aspect.
The thing I like about it is that they pay close attention to all of these like little facets, and there's so many like reflective qualities from just the first Karate Kid movie alone that are reflected in the series, like the fact that eventually by the end, he's training Miguel, and then LaRusso is training Lawrence's son, which is fantastic, and then like Robbie is like and again, at the beginning of the show, Robbie starts out as like the badass, like like troublemaker, and Miguel is like the dork, you know. But by the end, they've switched roles. Like Robbie is like the sympathetic character now, and Miguel is like the dick because he's let himself be consumed by like anger and stuff like that, and he's not understanding. Again, it goes down to the sensei because he's taught Miguel these lessons, but he's not remembering like what's wrong about those lessons at the same time. You know?
Yeah, and with the code, like strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
Yeah, it's not a great thing you want to instill in kids.
But as the show progresses, there are some good aspects to that.
No, like and that's what I like about it too. They show
like strike
side.
First, go for the first kiss.
Yeah,
don't.
But they have limitations to it. Like remember when Miguel is telling him about like, well, I have to ask her out on like a date, and he's like, no, man, you got to go in there and you got to like, don't take no for an answer. He's like, well, no, I'm pretty sure that no means no. He's like, yeah, when you're getting physical, no means no, but until then, you're just asking her out on a date. So it's like the writers are inexplicitly they're like, listen, Johnny's a bit of a dick, but he's not a rapist. Like, he knows the limitations of being a dick. So like I like that, and they humanize the character and stuff like that too.
But the very towards the end, because they don't address the no mercy part until later on.
Yeah, man.
Or it's just like because life grants you no mercy, you need to give life no mercy back. But like they take a big giant steaming shit in your mouth.
But no, like it's true though, because like the way he is in the show, especially with how Daniel messes with Johnny, sometimes on purpose, sometimes inadvertently, like Johnny will be okay, and then the minute he gets settled, something happens and blows up in his face, and he's like, well, what the hell? So like obviously he wants to take on the mentality of the Cobra Kai. But at the same time, simultaneously, they're showing you how that can get misconstrued, and he's seeing his students kind of going down the wrong path a little bit, and like but like he's still the sensei, but then it's like, and then you're wondering how he's going to counteract that as like the season goes on, or like the next season goes on, essentially. So I like it, man. They leave a lot to like be desired, but like in a good way, like where you want to know and you want to see the characters, like where they go.
And one character I would like to see more of that got introduced to the Karate Kid-averse, if you will, is the boss from Mary Tyler Moore.
Are we talking about Ed Asner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just being Johnny Lawrence's stepdad, and just like wow, because we were watching the first episode at work, and we're just like, oh my god, like
Ed Asner's in it. Yeah.
He like it's good that he's still alive. Because you got Prince that died, and you got David Bowie that died, but Ed Asner is still alive.
He's still alive, and the original voice of Granny Goodness in Superman the Animated Series.
I keep forgetting about that until I see something with Granny Goodness in it.
Dude, Ed Asner is the fucking man, dude, and I love the fact that he's in this show. He's in it very briefly, but immediately they give you a much better.
Are you allowed to cuss on your show?
I put it online. I mean, I think people know it has swear words.
Can I cuss?
You can cuss all you want, man. I mean, listen.
I'll save my cusses.
I only have like 50 listeners, man. I mean, if that.
Only 50? Only 50?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a small number?
No, that's more than I thought you'd get.
Oh, well, thanks, man. Anyway, yeah, dude, Ed Asner is awesome, man. I'm glad that he's in the show for very little, but they utilize him very well. He's one of the old school actors, and I'm glad he's in the show. They have a lot of interesting cameos in this show, I think, and they not only is like the adult actors like good at their parts, the kid adult actors are good too. They're believable high school kids.
Yeah, no, you want to stay invested, and that's good because it's not like a Girl Meets World in which like you watch for only like the original characters.
I guess. I mean, I only watched a little bit of Girl Meets World, and I didn't keep up with it, and I was just pissed at Disney because I wanted them to continue on past 3 seasons, which they don't do. That once they do 3 seasons, they're done.
Except for the original Boy Meets World.
Pretty much, yeah. But like, I was sad to see a lot of that go, and I like them bringing back all that stuff though. So I mean, but from what I've heard, I heard those actors were fine though. Like for those characters and stuff. And again, they did the same kind of thing where they had like that reflective quality, like mirroring like depending on Corey or what the girl was going to do. But
I think if anything,
were you not impressed?
I think if anything, Cobra Kai helped shape a little bit of it because with a lot of the reboots that came out,
Yeah.
Well, they viewed that as what not to do.
Yeah.
Like Girl Meets World brought back like a little bit of that nostalgia. Cobra Kai didn't bring back too much, but they gave the original fans enough while making a new generation of fans, just like the kids that you talked about.
Yeah.
Extremely enjoyable to watch as well.
The thing I liked about it, because again, I'm binge watching the show again, and I'm almost all the way through it again. But this time I'm watching, Karate Kid 2 and 3. But if you've only just seen Karate Kid, like, you're fine. Even if you haven't, the show kind of works still on its own level because you're seeing that there's a story behind it.
I agree with that.
I think someone who watches Cobra Kai would want to go back and actually watch the old movies to get a better idea.
You necessarily only really have to watch the first one.
Yeah, pretty much.
With a continuum. Because Johnny Lawrence was only in like the first 2 minutes of the second movie.
Yeah, because they continue in the parking lot and show Kreese getting angry and breaking the trophy and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And the third one didn't involve Johnny Lawrence at all.
No, and it's great because they make reference. But like I said,
they made a Terry Silver reference like
they
once.
Do.
He's like, I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
I like it, Johnny.
Probably for the best. But like, yeah, I mean, they leave the door because they've done well and they've made the groundwork now. People can get reinvested again, and now if they want to go further with it and they want to bring things in, I'm super excited. And they do that because at the very end of the show, they do like a Shakespearean ending where Johnny's student Miguel wins the tournament, and Cobra Kai is back on the map. And essentially, Daniel Russo says to him, he's like, yeah, dude, you got what you always wanted. But at the same time, the kid who lost was his son, Robbie, under Daniel. So it further...
There's no better meaning of bittersweet.
Yeah, it's really well, I'd say, but it's really well done.
Very
man.
Thanos-esque. Like, sure, I won, but I sacrificed my only child.
Dude, how great was that scene when, like, Robbie has the shoulder issue? And then he's like, all right, well, we got to do old style. He slaps his hands together and he goes, medic! Instead of doing
that killed me because they brought back like a lot of aspects where they made Daniel Miyagi, but at least they kept that with Miyagi.
Yeah.
Because if you remember with like the car scene, just like, oh, did you do both? Did you clean both lots?
Yep.
It's just like, this is bullshit. I thought we were learning karate. And then Larissa's just like, I love this part. And like, you skip like a whole montage of it, which is nice because you know where it's going anyway.
If you know enough about Karate Kid, like, you're fine. And I think everyone, even outside of people who haven't watched the movie, they know the wax on, wax off, or they know what the twist is, so to speak. But either way, like, the way it's done, the way it's even shot is like very precise. Like they get through that sequence very quickly with Robbie and who's Johnny Lawrence's son and Daniel LaRusso. They get through it very quickly, and then you know where everything's going. Even simple scenes like where he's gone back and visited Mr. Miyagi's grave, and then at the end of the episode, he's back.
That was such a sad scene.
Yeah, but like that's what's so interesting is that like one of my main and biggest concerns about the show, even when I saw the trailer, I'm like, okay, the trailer looks cool, but like, Mr. Miyagi's not in the show. Like, I mean, I know it's not necessarily his focus, but like, Mr. Miyagi's the heart and soul of that franchise. Like,
absolutely. Well, it's just like how Game of Thrones is. You're like, oh, this is a show starring Sean Bean, and he's dead in the 7th episode.
Yeah.
And like, sure, he's like the heart and soul of that show without actually being there. But just like with LaRusso, like his heart and soul is Miyagi. So like even after he stopped doing karate, like he even tried to do a business with Miyagi, with selling bonsai trees, which clearly didn't work as stated in the show. Yeah,
no, but it's great because that goes, again, the fact that they're referencing Karate Kid 3 in a positive light kind of shows how like what a masterstroke the show is. Like yeah, we're talking about Karate Kid 3 as well, and we're bringing that in and we're making it work. It's like, okay, great. In fact, he's selling the bonsai trees like as like an added bonus at the car dealership. It's hilarious. But the Miyagi not being there actually works as a benefit to the show's storytelling because what happens to Daniel when Miyagi isn't there to guide him? You know, it's the same thing that happens to a lot of people when they don't have their parents or their
He
or their
lets
guardians.
his son be a little fat jerk.
Yeah. Yeah, his kid is one of the worst. His daughter's like okay. She's not great. She chooses not the best friends and everything at the beginning of the show.
She crashes into people, ignores her boyfriend. She totally turns Miguel into a jerk.
Yeah, by wasn't she wasn't ignoring him on purpose. It was because the mom took the phone away, right? Because she was grounded.
Yes, and even prior to the phone taken away, like she didn't want to tell her father about Miguel at all.
Yeah, well, because again the Cobra Kai thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like it's well written in the fact that you know why characters are acting the way they are. No one's acting necessarily out of character, or doing something stupid for no apparent reason. It's all tied into the main story. But yeah, like his kids aren't the best, and again, I like that. I like the fact that Daniel Russo has a great life, but it's not perfect. And then Johnny has a terrible life, but he's getting better, and he's trying to still figure things out and everything. So, but I like the fact that you still root for both of them, which I think is kind of like it's really well done.
Yeah, like I went into this, and I'm sure the 20 million people that viewed the first episode went into thinking Johnny Lawrence is the protagonist and Daniel LaRusso is the antagonist. Like we thought that the first couple of episodes, but it shows like Daniel LaRusso isn't necessarily like a bad guy. Yeah. And Johnny Lawrence is an anti-hero, but he's not necessarily like
he's not Kreese. He's not his old sensei. Mm-hmm. But see, like that's the thing though too is like I think
even though he's getting drunk and peeing on things and throwing beer cans.
He's an alcoholic. Students. I mean that's a whole different. They even make a joke about that when he comes into the meeting to talk about the Cobra Kai band and he comes in like his suit. They're like, oh I'm sorry, AA is later tonight at 9:00. Sir. And he's like, no, I'm here for the Cobra Kai thing. He's like, oh yeah.
He's like, oh, sorry about the puking thing.
But like, this show is it's so much better than it has right to be, and just because I think less talented
because they took so much time with it.
Well, less talented writers or other people would I think have done a different story, which wouldn't
they would have made a parody.
Well, they either would have made a parody or they would have done a thing where like Daniel is the protagonist, he's the new Miyagi, so to speak, and Johnny just rebuilds Cobra Kai, and now he's just super evil, and now Daniel has to stop him, whereas this is like a much more like realistic take on it. And that's true too, because a lot of the reason people loved Karate Kid, and a lot of reason why they still love it today is because it's a pretty realistic take of how bullying was and still is to this day. Like Daniel isn't necessarily just being teased and pushed around, he's being like legitly, beaten on. To the point where like Miyagi has to help him out. Like that's why Miyagi chooses to train him, because Daniel's gonna die if he keeps going this way. Now he antagonizes Johnny, yes. I want to get to that viewpoint in a second. But like I said, they take it from a different viewpoint, and I like them. And again, they use the Miyagi thing to their advantage because Miyagi is no longer there. Daniel has no reason to do the bonsai business. He just does a car dealership, But Daniel doesn't run a dojo. He's just a regular guy again. He doesn't need to do the karate. He only gets back into karate because of the influence of Johnny Lawrence. And because there's no other dojos in the area, Cobra Kai becomes the centerpiece. So now Daniel, in retaliation, has to make his own dojo, like towards the end of the show, like to counteract him. But I like it because it's built up. It's not just like you don't start there. You build up to it. And it's well done. Are you familiar with the YouTube video, Daniel is the Real Bully?
Oh, but of course.
Yeah, it's got like 8 million views, I think.
Did I also send you the Patton Oswalt?
Wait, is that I just listened to something? I saw his review. Patton Oswalt reviewed the whole show.
No, it was
no, he did.
Came out a few years back. I did see that review that you sent me of Patton Oswalt talking about it. I've
been looking at all, because when YouTube, when you start watching a certain amount of videos, they start sending you like recommendations.
Yeah, down a rabbit hole of recommendations.
Well, they said Patton Oswalt, Johnny Lawrence story, and I listened to it, and it's where like his own made up backstory to Johnny Lawrence after he loses the tournament, and eventually he becomes the Gimp in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, well, like it goes through his 3 prior movies.
Oh yeah, right, because he's in like
he's in
like one of the guys. Yeah, Back to School.
One of the guys. And then I looked up when I first heard Patton Oswalt talk about that. I was just like, "What's Johnny Lawrence to Gambit?" Like I actually looked that up. I don't know who he did, but I was like, "No."
Yeah, I think everyone did, but no, he's not in that. Yeah, William Zabka. He only comes back. He only basically for a while, essentially, only came back for Johnny Lawrence cameos, like in How I Met Your Mother, or something like that.
And also on Jimmy Kimmel Live because they did one skit where Daniel LaRusso was on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh,
And they did him as one of the guest judges, and just like LaRusso, there's no swivel in your hips. You look like Snooki on Happy Hour.
I didn't realize that. That's
You're
great.
a loser, LaRusso. Will Smith's kid would demolish you.
Yeah. So, by the way, Will Smith produces this show, Cobra Kai.
I mean, it goes to show, like, I wasn't necessarily particularly fond of the 2010 Karate Kid with Jaden Smith, but
I personally didn't mind it.
I will say some aspects though.
Okay.
You saw a little bit of backstory with Jackie Chan's character. Like you were able to develop like a little sympathy, but like with like the Chinese characters that were the antagonists, you couldn't really feel for them at all because you just saw them as jerks. Like, oh, they just hate him because he's black or because he's American.
Yeah.
Because like at least with Bobby Brown from the original Karate Kid, when he did a leg sweep to LaRusso, he felt sorry. But then like when like in the second round with Jaden Smith. Like the kid is still like elbowing him in the knee, just like, wow, they really have no hearts. Is that all China is? With the exception of Jackie Chan's character, is this how I'm supposed to feel? It's like Zero Dark 30, just like, oh, all brown people with that are Muslims, like or like overseas, I'm supposed to be scared of, because like that's what is being presented.
Yeah.
Like other than Jackie Chan's character, which you do feel for. Because like they give like a little bit of backstory, but other than that, like it doesn't have as much redeeming qualities.
Here's the thing. I think even though most people only really remember Mr. Miyagi, but you still sympathize with Daniel LaRusso. You like Daniel LaRusso, and in the first Karate Kid, like you said,
because the story was all about him.
Yeah,
you had no Johnny Lawrence aspect until 34 years later with Cobra Kai.
But like I said, the filmmaker. The guy who had directed the first Rocky, because they were still, in that 70s, 80s vibe of still working on character, he was smart enough to show that, like, the Cobra Kai guys were not all the way evil, like you said. Like, he felt bad sweeping the leg and then talking to even Johnny Lawrence didn't want to cheat to win. And then even when he lost, he grabs the trophy and gives it to Daniel in understanding defeat. Like there was that. But yeah, like in the remake, I think we care more about Jackie Chan than we do Jaden Smith, and I think that's and it's not necessarily on Jaden Smith's like it's not because he's like not like acting well or anything. It's just because that's how it's written, and I think you just sympathize more with Jackie Chan. So the main point though is because of that movie, they had owned his company Overbrook, Will Smith's company owned some of the rights.
How are we doing on time, Paul?
We're doing good, man. I mean, we can do the podcast for as long as we need to do.
Yeah, like generally like an hour is usually you.
Yeah, I know, man.
All right. So
I mean, well, I'm just saying. So essentially, they own the rights, and that's where they contact the guys. The Harold Kumar guys contacted him, and we're like, look, we want to do this, and I think you can tell, even all despite that, I think it's safe to say that Will Smith was obviously a fan of the original movie. Back when he was a kid.
Oh, without a doubt, which is probably why he was an executive producer for the Cobra Kai show.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how much influence he actually had on the show, but I think he
don't think he had too much. I think like he just wanted to step back and just be like, boys, let you do your thing.
Yeah.
I want to make money off this, which is understandable, but I feel that like I can focus on my other projects. I back this.
Yeah.
You guys just do your thing.
I granted that Will Smith, who's a very smart guy behind the scenes, I grant you that he probably read the scripts though, and we're like, this is great, okay, go for it, like just do whatever you want, and it's fine. What's great about the show is that it doesn't really need like a high budget, which is amazing because it's all
because it's just like it was just like I know this is not a good example now, but like House of Cards. House of Cards on Netflix didn't have the biggest budget.
Yeah.
Like, did you see the first season at all?
Yeah, I've seen up until like the most recent season.
Like even like the big business mogul, like who's supposed to be like a Donald Trump, Like in that show,
Yeah.
his office looks like shit. Like it doesn't look like any bigger than the room that you and I are in right now. And like literally the colors are the same.
Yeah.
Which is just like dead guy yellow. But like they did it with but the story was so good
It
they were
didn't matter.
able, it didn't matter, and they were able to do it with just a small budget. I mean, same thing with Cobra Kai, with the exception of like the very last episode and maybe episode 8. Like I think they did spend the most amount of money there.
I was gonna say I think the most money that they probably spent on the entire show was in that tournament at the end and the cars on the lot in La Russo Auto. And that's it. Like everything else was just regular.
Well, La Russo Auto, like they could have just gone to like any auto place and like gone through the inventory and they're like, okay, this is it. Like episode 8, I feel, which was my second favorite scene. What was him training the kids in the junkyard and just saying like, go at it. Like I feel that was probably like the second most. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel that was the most second expensive one.
Okay, actually, you know what? I want to talk about favorite scenes because, and this is pertaining to Johnny as well. Because
you tell yours and I'll tell mine.
Okay. Well, I was saying, remember we were talking about how the Daniel is the real bully, like YouTube video. Now, if you just watch that video by itself, you think the guy has like a legit, like backing up of everything. You're like, oh yeah, I could see how Daniel could be the bully in that situation. When you go back and watch Karate Kid again, though, you see like, oh well, he manipulates, because again, it's a satire video, but you see how the guy can manipulate the footage to make it seem like Daniel's more in the wrong, where it's kind of like even on both sides to some extent, with obviously Johnny being much more like physically being a bully. However, when you think about it, like that's probably how Johnny views things, and they take it directly from that video, and because when Johnny regales to Miguel about what happened on the beach, he pretty much does exactly like the video. And he only sees it from his point of view. He doesn't see himself in the wrong. But that's what's great is because we've all been bullied when we were kids and stuff, And granted, I think some bullies know that they're in the wrong, but like no one sees themselves as the villain in their own story. They never do, and they probably see some aspect of their lives from a different point. Like, hey, I was just trying to talk to my girlfriend, and this prick comes up to me in the middle of the beach trying to hand her back
olive skinned little prick,
this little Italian motherfucker. And then but it's so great how he tells Miguel the story because we know the real thing, how it went down, but like that's how Johnny views the thing and how everything goes. And you can call LaRusso's attitude petty, but I can tell you a dozen people from high school that I would still have a grudge against if I were to see them in a public place. I'd be an adult about it, but you're waiting for them to give you an excuse for you to tell them to fuck off, essentially. And that's how LaRusso plays it with Johnny for most of the show. Like, he's very nice to Johnny, or at least the first episode, even though he's still kind of a prick, if you remember that.
Yeah. Like, the reason why he's nice to him is just like, oh, he's beneath me. But then when he's like, oh, he's starting a karate school, this is giving me flashbacks to when 5 dudes were holding me down teabagging.
He has literal PTSD too. Like when Miguel is in the skeleton costume at the Halloween party, he sees it and he immediately gets like flashbacks to the beatdown. And he's like, oh, and he like chases the kid out, and then he finds Johnny hanging the posters. He's like, no, you get out of here, you get out of here. But yeah, man, it's like I said, like we were talking before, like it's great how they do like the 3-dimensional aspect, like how like Daniel's seeing things from that perspective and how he has right to hold a grudge, but at the same time you see how Johnny sees Daniel's perspective, or like how Daniel was doing things and he doesn't approve either, So and again, it's back and forth, but it's well done. My other favorite thing is when he finally gets the new car from Daniel after the cousin destroys the Pontiac Firebird.
He just beats up those biker dudes.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It's so great.
They didn't even get a hit on him.
No, man, he's fucking Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah, he's Johnny Lawrence.
But is great is they're arguing and bitching most of the time, and then Speedwagon comes on, and they both start liking the song, and then they're at the bar.
Take it on the road, baby. That's the way you brought it, baby.
But they go to the bar.
Right.
No, we're talking about podcasts being long. I mean, if you want to sing the whole song, go for it. But no, they sit down in the bar and they start talking about like Allie from the first movie, and they go on and like
she still looks good.
Well, Elizabeth Shue in real life.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, she's hotter now than she was when she was younger. Like in my personal opinion. If you've seen her in Piranha 3D, she's pretty fucking hot.
In certain ways, yes. Like because I saw her in the remake of Death Wish.
Oh,
she
okay.
looked good.
Oh yeah, right. Does she play the wife in Death Wish?
Yeah, she plays Bruce Willis's wife.
Okay, I knew she was in a movie just recently. I couldn't remember what it was though. But yeah, it probably was Death Wish. But yeah, dude, and I would love it if she comes on the show. But they don't. She doesn't come on the show. But what's so funny is that Johnny doesn't know anything about Facebook, which is hilarious. But
like that was literally like the only thing that seemed off to me.
Because everyone's heard of Facebook.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know computers, you know what Facebook is. You've heard
that's the only thing that like I will nitpick. I'm just like, come on, dude. Facebook has been out since 2005.
Yeah, you've had to have heard of it. Like it's a thing. But again, he's a guy kind of trapped in time almost the way he acts. So I can buy it. It doesn't destroy my suspension of disbelief, I guess is the best way to put it. But I'm with you. It's a big nitpick. However, they use it to their advantage, and the fact that like LaRusso, he's like, yeah, she's on Facebook, and he's like, really? And he shows her the picture. You don't see her, but you see her dog, and you see her husband. He's like, what a douche. She's like, yeah, he looks like a douche, and they're just like they're bonding, like the one time they're actually bonding in the show, and I thought that was like really well done. But like I'm laughing because the other suspension of disbelief is when he's hanging up the Cobra Kai posters in the school. You know when Miguel gets beaten up at the Halloween party. He goes, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different trophy cases throughout the school, but he goes by one, and there's just one picture of Allie, like, standing there, like, being a cheerleader, and I thought, it's weird to have one synchronized cheerleader in a trophy case.
No, like for nearly 35 years, having just the one picture, and just like that one trophy case frozen in time. Just that one.
Dude, when she comes back, if she comes back in the show, I think they should definitely make it a thing because, like,
I wouldn't be surprised if she came back for season 2. I would not be surprised.
I'd be so happy, and because, like I said, I really enjoy Karate Kid too, and they wrap her up like right away, and they make her almost kind of a villain. It's great because Daniel drives in. It's 6 months later. The car that Miyagi gave him, the front fender and like the light is like busted. And Miyagi's like, Daniel-san, what is this? And he's like, oh yeah, well, and he comes out and he's still like in his prom outfit, you know, like his like khaki blue suit, and he's like, yeah, well, Allie took it for a spin, and then she dumped me. She told me she fell in love with this UCLA football player, and she's basically like villainized almost. So I want them to,
as most women should.
Don't say that.
That scene where Miguel hits her, I said, well, good.
That's awful.
Should have stood in the way.
You're talking not about Allie, you're talking about LaRusso's daughter. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so like if she comes back, I want him to bring that up immediately. Like they bring it up, the fact that they make it a point to let the audience remember that, oh yeah, it's too bad you guys didn't last after high school, that you broke up after high school. He's like, yeah, you know, things change and stuff like that. At least Kimiko left him to go pursue a dance career. It was more like, you know, like career oriented rather than like another dude. So, you know, there's that going on.
See, because I don't remember a lot of Karate Kid 3. I only remember...
Yeah, not so most people have let it go, but they do.
I don't remember Jerry Silver, though.
Yeah, well, everyone does that because he's such a weird character, but like again, they make reference to the things that you need to make reference to. They make reference to Mike Barnes, who was like the other guy that was like messing with Daniel and trying to get him to join the tournament and stuff like that, and then he defeats again. But again, it's just a retread of the first one. But like they make the fact that Cobra Kai got banned from the tournament because of the events of 3. So they definitely make reference to it, but they make sure to do it just enough where it's not like dependent on the past movies.
I feel it's more dependent on the first one more than anything. Like 90%. The first one, and then maybe like 5% the second one, 5% the.
I'd say like 5 or 10% the third one because they make reference to the bonsai tree place. They make reference to.
Because I didn't remember he tried making it a business until you said something during this.
Yeah, like I said, I just started watching the third one before I came over here. But the fact that this show has made me go back and rewatch the original trilogy, like I have to give props to the show. Like the fact that it made me want to do that shows that the show's doing something correct and right. But dude, like the second one is great. Not only just because it's like a decent sequel, but
there's just so many things I wanna say. I will always love you. I can never leave you.
Again, I think that was meant to be in Rocky 4.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
like at all.
And what was the song? The "You're the Best" was supposed to be in Rocky 3, I think, and Stallone left that one too.
Oh, what a fool!
What a fool!
What an asshole!
But yeah. So
your beard's looking pretty great, by the way.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I'm glad you decided to grow it out.
Yeah, well, I couldn't when I was working at Market Basket. So.
Fuck Market Basket.
Don't say that.
No, because Market Basket is pretty much your John Kreese.
Wow, thanks, man. I would say my John Kreese was when I worked Market Basket when I was 16 years old. That was my John Kreese moment.
No, like you working as an adult is more your Terry Silver.
Yeah, I guess. I guess Terry Silver's makes more sense.
I like it, Paulie.
God. Okay, so what were we saying? Because we got on like a tangent there.
Oh yeah, you about probably 15 minutes ago in this podcast wanted to talk about favorite scenes.
Okay, sorry. So I talked about my favorite scenes. So you talk about your favorite scenes.
Probably I'm gonna start with the smallest ones. Episode 3. Literally, the entire episode is him recovering from when Johnny Lawrence spray painted a dick on his face. Literally, that whole episode is him coping with it.
I want to make this very clear.
30 minutes.
I want to make this very clear. Spray painted a dick on his face on a giant poster, not on actual Daniel's
Well,
face.
anybody that's listening to the review probably has heard it. Well, maybe like 49 out of your 50 viewers, and it just got one. They're just like, I think I'm gonna spoil it. Fuck it.
All right,
that one asshole.
But yes, that episode was hilarious.
Because like his cousins are just like, yeah, but it's almost done. Like, why didn't you start with the middle? Why would we start with the middle?
His cousin Louis is hands down the worst character in the show. He is.
It's just like, we're up here dressed as Ghostbusters.
He is such a terrible character, and I don't mean like written badly. I mean he's just a bad character.
And who was the girl on that show that joined Cobra Kai?
The girl. Oh, are we talking about the friend of Miguel? I forget the actual name of the character, but she's great in the show.
Oh my god, she's absolutely fantastic. And when she does like the dragon strike knee to Miguel,
dude, when she lifts
because Johnny Lawrence changes probably the most out of anyone, even though he's a protagonist, because he just like has an 80s aspect of just like no girls allowed, but then Miguel is trying to lead him to just be like a little more modern.
A little bit more accepting, I guess, is the best way to put it. But
which he has been accepting, because look at the students that he takes in.
Yeah, no, it's great. And now he doesn't more because he's in dire need of money.
Very true.
But then he learns that like they're actual like human beings, which is great too. But
my second favorite scene is when it's the beginning of episode 8. When he's at the junkyard, and he's just like, "You're doing your best.
Oh yeah,
Are you ready for the tournament?"
Yeah, and they're all breaking stuff.
Not. He's just throwing beer cans at him. And he's just letting him smash and go to town, but like he's pretty serious about training. And then he's giving them beef jerky. You guys hungry? Good. So are they. He sends rabid dogs after him.
And when they get that, to get a rabies shot because of it.
And when like the dog's about to bite Hawk. Well, like, I cried laughing. Because of Johnny's face after. He's like, ugh. Maybe I was a little too harsh.
I think your favorite line is, like, I think, either it's episode 9 or episode 10, and they're like, where's Johnny and stuff? And he's like, oh, he was drunk. And it's like, why don't you tell anybody? Well, he's been drunk most of the time that we hang out together. I didn't think much of it, to be quite honest.
No, that one was probably my favorite, just him peeing on the car. It's just like, Sensei? What's going on? We're all gonna die, kid! We're all gonna die! But then you see him, and he's completely sober the next day.
It's great, man.
No, just like the fact that he can switch just like that, and then do an inspirational speech about no mercy is just absolutely phenomenal.
And what a great advertisement for Coors beer. He drinks nothing but Coors the
Coors
entire...
banquet beer at that. And but then like one aspect that I will say I liked about Cobra Kai more than I liked about the original Karate Kid is the final tournament, like the final matches that they were having. It's just like an absolute more beautifully done like the audience is in the back of the camera, like most of the time, but you know that's a huge audience.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
in the first and the third movie, there's like 2 rows of people, and that's about it.
well, it's more of like you're seeing the actual full on spectacle rather than being there with the character. Essentially, I guess I mean, when they're fighting. Once
Right.
they're off the mat and they're talking to each other, then you're with them. But then the camera goes more of like wide panning to make you have a real idea of like, oh, this is a big festival. Is what they do.
It feels like more of a big match feel because like
Yeah.
Karate Kid 3, it jumps like from like him getting beat up like right to the last match of the tournament.
Oh wow.
Which just didn't make too much sense for me. But like I think episode 10 was just beautifully done. And then we're just and I have my roommate Matthew Withrow with me pulling up and talk about your 3 favorite scenes from the series because him and I actually watched the first 6 episodes together and then he spoiled and watched the last 4 without me, the bastard. But yeah, like what were your 3 favorite scenes from the entire series?
My first favorite scene, I think, would probably be the scene where he's outside the convenience store. That would probably be the first time he actually, maybe uses martial arts or karate
In like 20 years, yeah.
In like 20 years. And basically his first kick, you watch him like grab himself at one point where he's
Because
like,
he hasn't used his legs like that.
he hasn't used his legs like that in like probably in the last 20 years or so. But he's like, you get that feeling. He's like, well, I still can do it. It's like getting right back up on the bike or the horse or whatever you want to say. That would probably be my first big scene because it's the first time in the series that you see him kick ass, I guess.
When that scene happens, that's when I was pretty much sold on the show. Where like I'm like, okay, they're not gonna pussyfoot around this. Like the fact that he's beating up like teenagers in like the first episode, it's amazing. It's like almost it's not as full on off the cuff like say Bad Santa when like Billy Bob Thornton's beating those kids, the skateboard kids, but like it's pretty fucking fantastic. It's great.
I guess my next favorite scene would be when he actually has to walk in the car dealership, Daniel's car dealership, and actually, he gets confronted by him. I think that's something that, probably in the back of his mind he's been anticipating for 20, 30 something years now.
It's just the one thing he doesn't want to have to deal with.
He comes in with the sunglasses and the hood, and it's just like trying to not be noticed and everything. But it's like that's a great scene, honestly. It's he's in the process of walking out, and then all of a sudden it's like the one thing that you just don't want to happen just happens.
It's just like you're walking through, and then just like, please, Paul Michaels, don't talk to me. Please, Paul Michaels, don't talk.
Wow.
The series is filled with so many good scenes, but these are just certain ones that stick out in my head, I guess, when watching it, that are just like, okay, you see like first confrontations, first things like that. My next favorite scene would be kind of a random scene, but this is one that kind of hit home. Would be when he starts to lose students from his treatment of them.
Oh right, like the first and second day.
Yeah. And I think he kind of comes to grips with he can't lose that Cobra Kai attitude mentality that that goes on. But I think I guess when you say Cobra Kai never dies, it's like and you see that by the end of the series. It's like even with Miguel. Miguel kind of turns into that classic Cobra Kai. Like I don't give a shit. We can curse on that.
Oh yeah. Go down.
Now we gotta start over.
Oh, we gotta edit that out.
Even though Paul said an MFer.
How dare you?
I like literally only 50 people listen to this. If there's any complaints, I haven't gotten them. So.
But then 49 actually heard the series, and then the last one just like, I'm gonna spoil it right now.
If I guess I could choose. You asked for 3 scenes in this, but I guess I could choose 4 because the very ending was pretty epic.
Yeah, we need to talk about that because we actually haven't been able to really go into it. So at the end of it, he has a disagreement with Miguel, and Miguel leaves, and then he goes in to get, I think, either a beer or just a water, and then he hears the dojo door open again, and he thinks Miguel's come back, and he walks out the door, and he's like, Miguel, and it's in the shadow, and you see a cigar being lit.
And you know it's him,
just
by the voice.
In the earlier parts of the show, he makes reference that John Kreese is dead.
Yeah.
Which is the first time within that we've heard John Kreese is dead, because we heard it in the third movie as well.
Yes, that's true.
From Terry Silver.
Yep. So yeah, I don't know what they're playing at, but I think that they're I mean, again, another callback to some of the old movies, but yeah, it could have been that John Kreese went away and he just thought John Kreese died, or maybe that someone lied to him,
or maybe
whatever.
he just used that as an excuse to try to get back in the tournament.
Yeah, without oh, don't worry, John Kreese isn't around anymore. Which it might have been the case. He might have thought John Kreese left, and then when John Kreese heard about the tournament, he came back.
Martin hasn't talked to him in 30 years.
Yeah.
I never know what happened.
Martin Cove is in his 70s, and it's just fascinating to me that he looks almost the same.
Yep.
He looks like he's maybe aged 5 years out of the 35 years since the movie, and that's about it.
I think a lot of it's lighting too, because if you ever see interviews with him, you can see that he's actually aged. Not like not like he's like a wizened old man. Yeah, not like a wizened old man or anything.
When he comes out of the kind of the shadows in the scene, though, it's almost like ghostly at that point.
It's like he came out of the old movie.
Exactly.
It's scary. It's scary how it is, but it's one of the best end teasers to a season that I've experienced in quite some time. And if you know Karate Kid, it's even better. It's just holy shit. Sure. So
an honorable mention for me as far as scenes is when the new students are getting used to his style. He made an establishment. They changed stuff up. They're actually starting to like him. It's just wait, Reese, how many of you haven't been punched in the face before?
Yeah.
It's just and then the girl from that was struggling to get into Cobra Kai that was a little worried. He pretty much made his second in command. It's just Miss Robinson, unflinch these men. It's just
and then Hawk gets punched in the face, and it's oh, don't worry, it's just a tooth. Okay. It's
and then it's just am I supposed? It's just Sensei Lawrence is am I supposed to take out the first aid kit? Is there blood? No. Well, there is a lot of blood, but that's not why I'm here.
So I'm fascinated to see what they're going to do with Kreese and everything. Now I want to talk to you because we've been high praising Karate Kid 2. I think that actually has the most potential to have fun in this show, because once they get past the Cobra Kai aspect villains, because they might do Kreese, they might even bring Terry Silva.
Oh, they could go to Okinawa in the second season.
No. I think even better. I think once they finish stuff with the Cobra Kai villains, the tease for the next season, whether it be season 3 or season 4, depending how long they keep the Cobra Kai stuff going, like the villains themselves, a limo pulls up, and then a guy walks out, and it's Chosen from Karate Kid 2. Basically the apprentice to Sato, who was if you remember the Karate Kid 2, he's a fucking crazy person. But the best part about it is that I'm
more crazy than Sato was.
But Karate Kid 2 has one of the best endings, because he literally is just trying to have a nice dance time with Kumiko and Mr. Miyagi, and then Chosen comes in on a rope, and he takes the girl hostage with a knife, and then they have a death match in the middle of this whole big spectacle, and they're all doing this with the certain move that the Miyagi's know.
The second one.
No, but it's essentially a life and death match. Yeah, it's a life death match. Right? And he's
that's what he says.
And he's live or die, man! And it's all die, and then he doesn't kill him, and he lets him live. But
kind of like Miyagi did
yeah, at the beginning of it, yeah.
You must show no mercy. He is man in front of you. He is enemy.
By far, that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole series.
Yeah, in the original trilogy.
So great.
I think with Mr. Miyagi's line in the second one, though, where he says "this isn't tournament," is probably that sticks hard. Right
No,
there,
there's a lot of great lines from the second one, and I wish they had kept going with I would have just loved to. It's kind of like the whole Doc and Marty relationship. I just want to see adventures with these two characters going to different places.
That's why they created the amazing Karate Kid animated series.
Was it really amazing?
It was canceled after episode 6.
Yeah.
I
forgot that it was made though until just recently.
Yeah, how come in the 80s, every cartoon that was based off an 80s movie, they make their hair brown instead of black?
I don't know.
Let me
Police Academy too.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about the question regarding Miguel's character in the show. They kind of paid homage to the original first Karate Kid movie, with almost like he moves into the place and he's the new kid from
He's literally a reflection of Daniel, which
Exactly.
is great. Even when he takes the daughter of Daniel to the thing, they do almost similar things that him and Allie do from the first movie.
Yep, and
So,
I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
homage to the first movie. But let me go. You follow Miguel's character throughout the whole series, but in the very end, and he keeps getting that Cobra Kai mentality. So you almost feel like he's starting off as this like innocent kid who
and he gets corrupted.
Yeah. But is that
Just like Anakin Skywalker.
It's like watching the movie. It's like you want Cobra Kai to be the protagonist in the movie, or like it to be the good guys apparently. But I just don't think it's ever going to happen because they can't get rid of that mentality.
Well, no. See, here's the thing though, and that's why Kreese is at the end of this season, because now Johnny has to deal with his version of Cobra Kai versus that version of Cobra Kai. Because I guarantee you they're going to use that as a plot point, because Johnny's probably going to try to change up a few things. Some of the students are probably not going to want to go all the way with that and be like, you're pussyfooting around, you're being a pussy, and then they're going to maybe Kreese is going to corrupt those kids. And then Daniel and him have to work together to take out Kreese again. I don't know, but like again, this show they could go anywhere, because this show, like, I hate to say it, but like it subverted expectations. Like anything that I would have originally thought of like a continuation Karate Kid series, this series did different. But still was true to the franchise and didn't like hurt the story by doing it. So, but
Are they going to bring back Mike Barnes' character?
Yeah, who knows?
They might bring back Mike Barnes in the third season, but
Terry Silver.
Terry Silver is going to be season 3, and season 2 is going to bring back a lot of the Karate Kid 2 aspects. So like you're predicting.
Well, I was saying, like I would love it if they finish off the Cobra Kai villains, and then Chosen comes from Japan because he's heard all about this Cobra Kai and Daniel LaRusso, and he's heard about because again LaRusso starts his dojo. Like, he never started a dojo with Miyagi. Miyagi only taught Danielson, and that was it. So, right away, you have a reason for Chosen to show up. But see, that's the best part, is that I'm pretty sure Daniel has not told his wife or children about his time in Japan, or at least that aspect of it, because, would you believe your son coming back and saying, yeah, so we had a nice time, and oh yeah, by the way, there was this life or death match that I had in front of the entire village, and I won, and no one would believe you. You would think you were a crazy person, or you were talking out of your ass. So he's gonna have to tell his family about
start singing Pure Satira to him.
But he's gonna have to tell his family about Karate Kid 2, and they're not gonna believe him. And then Chosen is gonna probably want to kill him or something like that. And then maybe him and Johnny have teamed up by that point, and they have to face Chosen together to defeat him.
Chosen has been stewing for the last 30 years.
Hey man,
that.
And it could be
his father disowned him.
Yeah, and it could be the exact opposite of
he was just forced to walk the streets, start being a
or
lady boy.
Maybe he started a criminal empire. We don't know. And then he starts sabotaging.
Criminal empire filled with lady boys.
No, but think about it. He starts
part of the Yakuza or something.
He starts
the
dismantling.
Yakuza with lady boys.
He starts sabotaging He could start sabotaging LaRusso's business, and he could start taking out Cobra Kai business from Johnny just because he's in association with Daniel. I mean, there's so much you could do with it.
He could start his own car business. He could buy from that guy Cole.
Yeah. There's a lot that they could do, man. I'd love to see where they could go with it and stuff.
Do you want to do a in conclusion while I sing Peter Cetera, just a little bit of background music?
You mean on your phone or?
No, just from this distance.
I can't take it seriously if you're gonna sing that. I'm not gonna lie.
There's just so many things I want to say.
In conclusion, if you haven't seen Cobra Kai, whether you've seen Karate Kid or not, you should check it out. It's a good series. We all enjoyed it.
Yep.
Every person I've talked to has been watched the series at some point. Everyone is giving it high praise, and it's well deserved. I think it's a great show, and definitely one of the biggest surprises of the year. So check it out if you get a chance.
And it really wasn't just a reboot.
No, it was a continuation of the franchise while going in the right direction. AJ, do you have any closing thoughts? All right, from here at us at Nerd Supernova.
No, I'm really excited for season 2.
When do you think it's going to come out?
Probably next year.
Yeah,
well,
next year. YouTube Red. That was a Great move on that part. Great business move.
I think
They are seriously making bank just because of this one series. Subscriptions went from 6 to 6 million.
I just thought of another scene. That,
And like to think of all the, they're
that.
gonna make so much money. Where YouTube Red is gonna make so much money off the people that forget to cancel their free trial subscription.
It'll probably be me too at that point. So.
No, I actually set my calendar the day before like my free trial is ended. And I'm gonna decide right there whether I keep my subscription or not. I am leaning more towards keeping it because of the music aspect.
Yeah, is it $10 a month? Though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and like it barely uses any data, like no commercials, which which most of the shit I watch is YouTube.
I just hate paying for the old version of
Paul,
YouTube from
listen.
like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but listen, you have 30 tabs of YouTube up. You might as well keep your YouTube Red subscription. Listen, I'm not funded by YouTube Red, but I highly suggest people keep it.
Okay.
Over than buying an extra like girly drink at the bar.
Fair enough.
Not saying I do that.
Matt, you said you had one more favorite scene you want to talk about?
One more favorite scene is the confrontation between Johnny and Daniel in Daniel's backyard when
that was brilliant because
his wife comes out though.
Yeah.
And is like, do you guys want to come in and talk this out like men,
instead
like
of fighting.
adults instead of fighting?
But I like it though because it's taking Oh, sorry, no, I'm definitely agree with you. Or no. Well, actually, I'm sorry.
But my favorite line in that is when, he's like, Daniel's like, do you want to come inside? And he's like, I can eat. That's probably the best line in the whole thing because they're not, at that point, they're not
kids anymore,
but they're not mortal enemies. It's just sort of like.
They're just guys who have a grudge against each other
Exactly.
from when they're kids. But like, what I like about it though is like, that's the joke. That would be the parody, would be them fighting in some backyard in karate dojo. And it's, instead, the wife's like, "You guys are like 40. Like, you want to just eat something?" And they're like, "Yeah, okay, let's do that."
let's face this like adults at this point. There's so many good scenes in this series that I think it's really hard to pick.
I love how he's consistently an alcoholic.
Yeah, up until about the end when he starts to clean up his act a little bit, which is.
He still like cleans up his apartment like episode 9. But he still gets hammered.
Yeah.
Like later on.
He does.
Even though his character progresses, like that still remains constant.
Oh yeah, so talk to me about, because you seem to have, I thought I wouldn't say she was in the right, but I thought she had at least reason in the show for like why she acted the way she did. You said you had real problem with Daniel's daughter.
No, it was definitely her fault she got hit.
I mean, she walked in front of a punch. I mean, that usually is like how it goes.
If you put that situation in real life and, just with like, they set it up perfectly to where he saw what was going on in the cookout in the backyard.
I know, man.
Showing up to the party with the kid, like holding hands. I mean, you can jump to conclusions easily in that point. And that's just, human emotion with Miguel and stuff like that.
She got in the way.
She got
in the way.
Miguel got drunk. Yeah, I hate it too because it's like, I mean, it works within the show, but I always hate situations like that just feel so contrived, like what's going to happen. I see her like hooking up with Robbie. Next
Did
season,
you like Robbie's character though?
I did. I mean,
I didn't like his character at first, but then like he started to grow on me.
Yeah.
Just as Miguel started to grow away from me.
Yeah, and I think that's on purpose and it's intentional, and I like that. But at the same time, like you still feel for both of them. Like you just feel bad that Miguel like became kind of a douchebag.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you understand why Robbie is the way he is because of how Johnny raised him. But like it's funny too because you know that Robbie still kind of wants acceptance from his dad, but it's just all bad timing. Like when he goes to talk to his dad, when he sees his dad kind of cleaning up his act, he sees him hand Miguel the gi and stuff, and so he's like pissed off about that, and that's why he goes to LaRusso's to work there. And then he actually ends up like caring about Daniel LaRusso, and he sees that LaRusso's like kind of like a good father figure, And so like again, it works within the show. It's well written. It's well made. It's a Shakespearean drama.
A lot of misdirection.
Yeah,
which I like a lot.
But in the benefit of the story, it doesn't like piss us off.
No,
it doesn't work out or something.
One misdirection that I can think of is when Johnny's in a diner and he sees a father and son just like fighting over a spoon for an ice cream.
Right.
And you think he's gonna make it with his son, but he just goes to make it with Miguel instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that coming, but I like it though because it's true. It's true. Like, why would he go to Robbie, who's like, get the fuck out of my life? Whereas like Miguel is the only kid that believes in him at that point.
He's attempted to do that in the movie, even telling his ex-wife or his ex that
Yeah,
he,
he's changing and stuff.
he's changing, but he'll actually take him in. Like if Robbie came to live with him,
Yeah,
he's actually willing to try to put the effort in because he does see the kind of the error of his ways and what his son is going through right now.
yeah,
But I mean, I think it's like him learning, like throughout the series, it's like Johnny learning a moral lesson at this point, and I think it's going to continue throughout the series.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to go on unless they. I hope they don't. I hope they don't go for like the what do you call it? Like the they do this in a lot of stories where they do the relapse where like they're going really well and then they have the character relapse and it's like and now he's back to this. Now he's back to this part of the story and then he has to redo it again. I hope they don't do that. I kind of just want him to have a progressive state.
They almost did that in terms of when Daniel and him went out for the drive in the new car and they went to the bar and things were almost getting a little easier.
but that again,
then it relapsed.
Yeah, but again, like that's set up by the story. It's not just like one convoluted situation and then like Johnny's back to where he was. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't. What I'm saying, like they're not gonna have him like regress one season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a minor relapse is fine. Like a major one would be like stupid. So have him actually physically progress. Because I think what they should do is they should have him become a real hero, and then again, maybe him and Daniel can team up to take on Kreese and Terry Silver if that's the case. And like I think that'd be great. And
That's
so
what happened. This is going to be an epic series.
yeah, I would love to see them converge their dojos, and I think that would be cool too, man.
All right. In conclusion, from each person, I want to hear a cameo, just one cameo, that you will think will happen, and then a sub cameo that will kind of count when we do this a year from now.
All right.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Yeah, if you want to go first, Matt.
All right. They pay homage to her, but if Elizabeth Shue's character shows up in the next series, I mean, honestly, maybe she's too big of a build actress right now.
I don't know.
She does a Hollywood movie every year, but I don't think she sees herself as too big to do it. So I'd say that's a good pick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have a secondary pick?
Do I have a secondary pick? I mean, if they're gonna bring in anybody from Karate Kid 3, I mean, like I think I mentioned it earlier, but you could bring in Terry Silver and Mike Barnes. Like I think that would be.
They're on the one of those two as your sub.
As my sub.
Yeah.
I would say Terry Silver before Mike Barnes.
Yeah, my ones, and this isn't like next season. This is like I'd say very down the line. But
no, next season.
It has to be.
It has to be next season.
I think he's named everybody then. But if I can.
Well, you can because his top is Elizabeth Shue. You could choose anyone except Elizabeth Shue as your top pick.
I don't know. There's not much really to go with. I mean, obviously Kreese is already back. So he's going to be in the show. I mean, that's kind of nailing the two aspects that I want to see come back. I mean,
you can still pick Terry Silver, Mike Barnes, Chosen.
Okay, but he picked Terry Silver.
You're not listening.
Oh, okay.
You could pick the same ones, but kind of explain why.
Yeah, but you just have to have a different primary one than he did. You can't have Elizabeth Shue as your primary.
Oh, my primary. I mean, okay, so Terry Silva.
There you go.
They might do them at both in the same season just to get it out of the way, rather than like and next season it'll be this one. Like they want to they might even do Terry halfway through season 2 just to bring it up a notch. Like he'll call in Terry and Terry will back him up like he did in the third movie. Elizabeth Shue I think will come back, but it'll be I don't know, like they have to have a reason for her to want to be back in that town at the same time that they're all in that town for some reason because
High School Reunion season 2.
How about that?
Well, hold on. When did they graduate high school? Like 1985?
Yeah, around there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like they've had movies like come back where it's just like, oh, it's like a 32-year reunion. But like,
I think that's kind of hamming it in though.
Well, listen, I still haven't had my 10-year. I'm 31 years old, so like if anything, it's gonna be like my 14-year high school reunion.
But did they have a 10-year that you just didn't go to, or they just didn't?
No, they haven't had it yet. Or I was such a piece of shit they didn't invite me. But like, as far as my primary pick, I'm saying Bobby Brown from the first movie. The one.
The one that hurts him the first time before Johnny does. I could see that. I definitely think they're gonna get hit more of the primary primary targets. Can I just say my personal like fan thing though is I think definitely down the line past second season they're gonna bring in Chosen at some point because that is a bombshell waiting to go off somewhere because that guy he got disowned by his uncle. Like if Johnny had issue with Daniel, Chosen really has issues with Daniel. Like he got disowned by a rich uncle that probably could have paved the way for him. He probably got disowned from the dojo where he was like the head student. He's like Johnny 2.0. Like I mean, if anyone has
like Johnny, if murder is on,
if murder's on the table, this guy I could legitimately see showing up and destroying Daniel's business before trying to kill him in the show.
Now.
Yeah, and he's still an actor. He's still going out. He was in Inception. He's in a bunch of different stuff.
That's the thing. I could definitely see him coming in. I mean, there's definitely a grudge held there. I mean, honestly, I'm not sure why he wouldn't have shown up sooner.
Yeah, I would think maybe because he just doesn't know where to find Daniel, maybe, and maybe even with Facebook, like he just didn't know where to find him, and now, but then he hears about.
Yeah, because the YouTube, has been a big aspect in the series itself of of students filming each other. Like obviously somebody's gonna like film like that final fight scene, so like with their phone, so like that goes viral and that leads to Chosen.
Mm-hmm. Chosen could see that and then see that that's where Daniel is, and he's like, oh my God, now we kill him. He'll burn his businesses and he tries to kill Daniel, and like I could just see him trying to explain to his family. He's like, no, you don't understand. Like I was with this girl, Kimiko. There was like this death match. The wife's gonna be looking at him like all like what the hell are you talking about? He's like, no, it was a thing.
This actually happened. I was much cooler.
Like Sam,
before you married.
Sam, like it's funny. That could be great too because they could use that as a joke because his son obviously doesn't think his dad's cool at all, and his son will be like, oh my God, Dad, you were cool at one time. Like,
yeah, Chosen was in Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah, that's right. He is. There's so much they could do, man. It'd be fucking awesome. Like I think there's a lot that they could do with that. So
Did you choose your characters yet, AJ?
Yeah, Bobby Brown showing up. I think he's gonna be like the first cameo of the series.
Maybe.
And then my secondary is gonna be Chosen.
Well, Dutch was the other one, I think. Who was he the body bag kid?
Oh yeah, with the exact same hair of Bobby Brown.
No, I think wasn't Dutch the blonde-haired one that like tried to antagonize him in the locker room?
Yeah. You're right. He was the blonde curly guy.
Yeah,
but then like in the music videos, Sweep the Leg Johnny, like you don't see that kid at all.
Oh, okay. But yeah, he's in it. Like, I'm only saying this because I just rewatched the movies, so like that's how I remember that.
I'm probably gonna rewatch the series again.
I was just telling AJ, like the fact that this show got me to go back and like rewatch the movies.
Did you pick up anything?
Oh yeah, there's a lot more Easter eggs. I mean, they reference 2 and 3 quite a bit in this, but again, they're not like look at the camera and wink. They're like, if you've watched the movies, you'll get it. If not, it's a fun passing joke, and then let's move on. Like again, it's like when Miguel's in like the dojo and he's cleaning the windows and stuff. He's like, Sensei, is there any particular way you want me to clean these windows? He's like, no, I don't give a shit. Just do whatever works best. It's making fun of the joke of the wax on, the wax off type of deal.
And I mean, Daniel brings that in too. And I told you, Adrian, when we were watching it, I said, are they going to pay homage to that car? Which they did.
Towards the very end.
Yeah, the very end.
So actually, in real life, Ralph Macchio owns that car and he owns that headband. And he even brought the headband on like the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon to show it off.
Nice.
But he owns both those things in real life, like the ones used from when he was a kid in the show or in the movie. So yeah, like the fact the car was in it didn't surprise me. Well, I mean it did surprise me, but then later when I learned,
smashed.
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch the second movie now.
Oh, dude, you totally should. It still holds up pretty well. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, because I remember that being my favorite, even from like a few years ago.
Yeah, it's so good, man. I mean, it's not as it doesn't really go anywhere as far as like progressing the story. You just learn more about Miyagi, and then you get a little more sense of Daniel and stuff like that. But it's good, and I kind of want to see. I want to see. Kimiko come back as well from 2 to like visit Daniel. Like that'd be pretty dope. She'd be like a dancer and like have her own dance studio, and like that'd be like hilarious. I mean, again, I don't know how much they're gonna do all that, but I think it'd be so cool to like see it happen and everything.
Or maybe Chosen just killed himself.
I hope not, man. That'd be kind of lame, kind of like a throwaway.
Yeah, kind of like what they were saying Johnny was going to do. Yeah, I thought Cynthia was going to kill himself. No, that's the pussy way out.
I think it's totally kind of not super important, but there's the sort of love interest in the third movie.
So it's funny. So this is really because again they do like James Bond. He's gonna have like a love interest like every movie, but he actually told the producers and the writers like I want this to be a platonic relationship, someone just like a friend, because he was married at that time by that point in the series. So he didn't want his wife like getting any ideas that he was doing stuff. So he's like, no, just make it a platonic relationship.
No, it's a different love interest every movie, and that was Jessica Andrews or whoever it was, played by Robin Lively.
Okay, well, hey, bring her in. I don't know.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, why include the other ones? I mean, the other ones were pretty important, but not her. Did she?
Yeah.
Really does not serve a purpose at all in that movie.
Not really.
Yeah, I guess that might be.
She's a woman.
Oh, come on, man. It's awful. But yeah, like that's kind of the case and everything. As far as like, and she's not an actual love interest if you really want to get into specifics. But like, yeah, man. It'd be pretty funny though, just in hindsight, because the wife would just be looking at him like, was there any girl that you didn't? He's like, listen, I was 17. There was another girl like every 6 months.
You were a player.
The wife is really funny too, because like she gets better as the show goes on, like that scene with him and Johnny, but like she's kind of a bad mom in like the first couple episodes.
I'd say that like she's the voice of reason, and pretty much in like every episode, even when she's arguing with LaRusso's mom.
No, but like when she's saying to like LaRusso, because like when he's trying to discipline his daughter, and it's like, oh well, like. Daniel, it's just not cool to do that, and it's like, are you serious? Like,
well, he was kind of like making a fool out of him. Rather, he was just flipping out in front of him. He could have came in and said, "Out."
Yeah.
Get.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Well, anyway, the show is well written. There's no.
I hated it.
You hated it?
Absolutely hated it.
Wow.
Garbage show.
Wow.
Even though it was like 150% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's the one time.
Wasn't worth the free YouTube Red membership.
Yeah, I completely disagree with Rotten Tomatoes on this show. This show is garbage. Daniel Lewis's daughter deserved to get hit.
Wow. So much, man.
I'm surprised if all their careers on the show just plummet and you don't see any of them ever again. And I think it's going to end up like that kid in that Chuck Norris movie.
What, Sidekicks?
Yeah, Sidekicks.
Yep,
and I think all of them are going to pass. And
are you saying that they're all going to commit suicide like that actor? That's terrible.
Definitely.
That's terrible.
Within like a 3-year time.
Dude, that's
yes, it's terrible that the show was poorly written and like everybody is going to be sad and nobody wants. Like everybody's
it's not written and directed by Ryan Johnson. I think we're all fine. Okay.
I have to say Joel Schumacher did a terrible job with this show. And he should be absolutely ashamed. Like, I think the bat nipples were a better aspect than this amazing, terrible show.
All right, are you done?
Well, I was done, but since you said, "Are you done?" that made me want to add more.
All right, well, anyway, that's the end of the podcast. We recommend the show.
Thank God.
I don't know.
We recorded for like 5 hours.
AJ went into bizarre mode there.
I honestly wish I had been here since the beginning.
Well, you had a job or something.
I had a mom's birthday to go to, but I wish when he told me about this, I was like, I really want to do that, but I got family duties.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do, man.
Larissa's mom.
Wow, too much. Anyway, they got the original mom, by the way, too, from the
considering she was a cameo right there. Considering she wasn't in the second or third movie.
Well, she is in the third movie, but she's just not with them. She's in the third movie. She's taking care of Uncle Louie, who I'm pretty sure is the father of that idiot cousin that's in this.
Was
movie.
she seen in it?
Mm-hmm. I told you, I just watched it. She's in it for like 5 seconds.
Was Johnny in any of the second or third movies?
No.
He was in the first.
Well, he's in 2 for like 5 minutes because they show the after effect of the tournament when Kreese is like breaking his trophy and like choking him out and stuff like that because he's pissed that he lost. And then Miyagi saves him and beats the fuck out of Kreese essentially. Or lets Kreese beat himself up by punching him his hands through glass and stuff.
I mean, it's available for $1 on
on YouTube
on the Cobra Kai YouTube site. So I think I'm just gonna buy it and just watch it tonight.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can go to Walmart and just get like a 3-pack too. You get like a box set probably. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Good show, great show, recommended.
But
Can't wait for
that's
season
going to
2.
include. But if I buy the box set, that's going to include the next Karate Kid, and I
You don't
don't
have
wanna
to
be
watch
tempted
it.
to watch it. But it's there.
It's
As
there.
long as it doesn't have the Jaden Smith one.
They said so. They've actually said in an interview, the creators, they've said that actually they consider Next Karate Kid technically canon, or they think that it's possible that Hilary Swank's character is aware of Daniel LaRusso and vice versa, because they would have shown together at the funeral.
Oh, I changed my pick. Hilary Swank's going to show up
Okay, but like this season or next season?
this season.
You all right? Well, we'll see
Hilary
how it goes.
Swank, totally.
She's probably the highest that they would have to worry about as far as like actual like actor that's in more than one movie a year.
She shows up to the grave along with Daniel LaRusso one time.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd be psyched to see that, even though it wasn't.
It's going to be a 1 minute. It's going to be a 90-second cameo.
That'd be great. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
All right.
That's it. So we're signing off. And that's it. That's all we got. Anything else, Matt? Or you all set?
I would, anybody out there, I would rewatch the series or watch it for the first time if you
Don't watch it.
haven't seen
Complete
it yet.
waste of
Get out
time.
of here. Get out of here. All right,
I
guys.
watched it twice because I hate it so much.
Yeah. All right, guys. Signing off. Have a good one.